Howdy folks, and welcome to the Daily Coin, and my name is Rory, and today is Tuesday. No, it's
Yeah, Tuesday.
Today is Tuesday, October the 28th, 2015. Thank you, Spiros.
That's right.
And I'm visiting with Spiros Cacos, Director of Investor Relations with Great Panther Silver Mining Company. And I'm very, very grateful to speak with him today. We are at the New Orleans Investment Conference, obviously in New Orleans, and I just attended a talk that Spiro was part of. It was called the Silver Boot Camp, and I wanted to follow up with him on a couple of points and find out exactly where Great Panther currently stands and where you see Great Panther headed over the next year, and how you plan on getting them there.
Oh, sure. Okay. Well, first off, we have, I should say the company we're a silver producing precious metal company with two mines being operated in Mexico. One mine is called the Guanajuato Mine Complex. It is in central Mexico.
Okay.
That area has been producing over about a billion ounces of silver in the last 400 years. It's been mining since the Spanish settlers came in there. Right?
So it was making pieces of 8.
It was at one time, it was the richest biggest silver deposit in the world and the richest city in the world.
Wow.
Right? So it's a beautiful city. It's a UNESCO heritage site. It's amazing. I advise people to go and visit it any chance they get. Our other project, though, is also in a very beautiful area. It's in a Durango state, and it's a silver project, silver mine with a little bit of base metals coming out of it.
Okay.
But quite recently, in the beginning of the second quarter, we've made 2 acquisitions. We acquired, through an option agreement, we acquired a company called CanGold, and through that we took over, have an option on a project called the Guadalupe Project. It's a gold project with some silver.
Okay.
And also took over a mine called the Coricancha Mine Complex, which is about a 2-hour drive east of Lima in Peru, and that's a polymetallic mine.
Okay.
By that meaning it's gold, silver, and a few base metals, about 80% precious metals.
Okay.
So that project's was in operation for many years. A company called Nearstar had it, and they put it on care and maintenance in 2013. We've spent the last 2 years negotiating with them and finally reached an agreement, acquired it, and trying to move those projects forward now.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
And what I really want to ask you about is silver is money. Mm-hmm. Everybody, we all know, we're very familiar with gold as money, but silver has actually been money longer than gold.
Correct.
And how do we get back to silver being a currency? It's already money. I mean, it's already a store of value. It's used industrially, as we all know. But how do we reintroduce silver as an actual currency, or is that even possible?
Well, I don't know if you can. In a way, it's kind of moving towards being a hedge towards the currency. We've seen now with the European crisis over the last few years, and the Asian financial crisis as well, more and more people have moved towards the greenback, the U.S. dollar. That's become the safe haven. That's the safe haven right now. And you see there's a correlation, an opposite correlation between the price of silver or the price of gold and the price of in the U.S. dollar, but in the long term or in the near short term, more and more people are predicting that the U.S. economy isn't as strong as we think it is. We think that there's stability starting to happen a little bit in Europe, a little bit in Asia, which means that the U.S. greenback is going to come off. If that happens, the theory is that the price of silver moves up, right? Or the price of gold moves up. So that's kind of a very general way of looking at it. I'm sure, Rory, you could probably have a lot your own perspective as well. But nevertheless, I think from Canada to here in New Orleans, people do believe that the silver is and gold are both commodities that have higher prices over the next year or so.
Okay.
And that's what we're basing our company at. We're trying to add add value now so we can get that real value later on in our shareholders.
Do you see any of the geopolitical issues that we deal with that we read about every day in the news, as far as the Middle East and Syria and all of these other aspects? How do you see those impacting silver over the next few months?
It's you think that conflicts, especially in foreign countries, have a direct impact on gold and silver, but it's usually financial crises.
Okay.
It's usually financial crises that tend to do it. It wasn't 9/11 that took gold to new levels, although it did have an effect on it. It was really the banking crisis that collapsed, right?
Right.
You're seeing Europe right now tremendously. When the euro crashed, right? You're seeing in Europe the price of gold moved up, especially in Switzerland, right, in Swiss francs. So you're seeing a correlation between the financial institutions or the financial framework with gold right now and silver. So people are saying, the U.S. market, can't go up and up and up and up. Whatever goes up comes back down.
The only reason that it's going up and up and up is because of the Federal Reserve doing the quantitative easing. I mean, that's, and as far as the greenback or the U.S. dollar being a safe haven, I mean, from my perspective, nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, that's like saying that a cloud in the sky is a safe haven. I mean, because it's that, to me, it's that illusory, and they're beautiful to look at, but
no,
that's about
true.
as far as it goes. Yeah. I mean, for me anyway, and that's why I like. I like diamonds. I like gold. I like things that I can touch and that are real. And so it makes sense that the geopolitical issues wouldn't have that big of an issue.
There is an impact. There is an impact. I mean, you're seeing it. Gold and silver, as you know, Rory, they can reflect on what's happening in the oil industry, what's happening with currencies, right? So, what's happening in the Middle East and what's happening in Europe can have devastating consequences politically, geopolitically, and of course, which means economically. Right now, I think in Europe, you're seeing millions of refugees coming across into Europe, and that's really testing the framework of the entire European Union.
Yes.
So it's also changing the demography of each nation, and nations such as Germany, France, and have England, of course. They're going to be tested over the course of the next few years as these refugees keep arriving, and they're going to shift in politics. And usually, anytime you have a huge influx of refugees or immigrants, politics moves towards the right. Tensions increase.
Yes.
The risk of war, the risk of political fights increases, right? And of course, when things lead to war, economies collapse, and of course, what happens then? We don't go to the greenback at that point. We run to gold.
Right. That and a bunker.
And a bunker. With gold.
With gold, exactly. So when the smoke clears, we've got something to deal with. Unfortunately, war is actually very good for silver because silver is used in a lot of the technology, and a lot of the technology that's in bombs that are dropped, and that's part of my thinking as far as, and I hate it more than you can even begin to imagine that's part of it, but it is part of it.
Sure,
it's just that's just a fact of life. I mean, it is the single best conductor of electricity. It's one of the best conductors of being able to transfer information. Right? I mean, it's not like a crystal, but it helps. It helps a lot.
It does.
So, but I don't want to spend any more time on that part of it at all. And so you don't really think that we can get back to a metals based currency? I mean, I know that China and Russia are kind of there's a lot of rumors that there may be a gold backed currency coming out of either China or Russia or a combination.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. It's if the U.S. It really comes down to if the U.S. government would do that, right? And that's, I think a lot of people want that. It'd make it a real currency at that point. But who's going to do it?
Who's going to do it? And that's what it comes down to is who really has what it takes to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's a political move more than a monetary move, right?
Correct.
I mean, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
Exactly.
But Spiros, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I really appreciate what you've given me, and I really enjoyed listening to you during the Silver Boot Camp. Been visiting with Spiros Cacos, right?
That's right.
And you are the Director of Investor Relations with Great Panther Silver Mining. Thank you so much, Spiros.
Thank you very much.
All right. Have a good afternoon.
You too.